Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of our yoga chat. I am Jessie Amatrano, and my co-host,
CeeCee Detroya.
We are both here today with another very amazing and special guest, a woman who is not only dear to both of our hearts, and we have done numerous yoga trainings with her, but she's an accomplished yogi, an accomplished entrepreneur, accomplished nonprofit. I mean, if there's someone who's all over the place with local people and spreading her goodness and light and her fabulousness, it's Kate. Kate joins us today. She is Kate Herrera Jenkins, and she is from Birmingham, Alabama, and New Orleans. Splits her time half and half and has fitness studios in both areas. So thank you so much for joining us today, Kate.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Kate, tell us a little bit about yourself for people. Like, I know I gave you a little bit of an introduction, but give us the short of the long of it for yourself for people who don't know us or you or anybody just tuning in.
Yeah, so I have been teaching yoga for about 12 years and have owned a yoga studio, a hot yoga studio for 9 years, and owned and that's in Birmingham, Alabama, and a fitness gym down in downtown New Orleans, Louisiana for 6 years, and have run a nonprofit for the past 6 years, which serves Native populations, First Nations populations throughout the US and Canada.
So you are very big and active with the Native American community, and your nonprofit is called Native Strength Revolution.
That's right.
Yes, can you tell us a little bit about what you do there and how that came into?
Yeah, so the whole vision for Native Strength Revolution came from me wanting to be able to bring the healing benefits of yoga to all Native people, because it's something that you don't need equipment, you don't need a special space, you can just teach it and they can just do it, and they can eventually teach themselves, which is where we are now. So the vision was actually, the first vision was to get an 18-wheeler and drive that really from reservation to reservation. But I realized over time, like, how long can we do that? And we need more than just me. So after the school, my yoga school, or my yoga training school at my yoga studio, after we started to do trainings, then I realized, oh, I can actually train other natives how to teach yoga to their own communities, right? Because to teach anybody anything, first you need that personal relationship. And so with somebody coming from a specific community, and then coming to become a yoga teacher, they're going to have so much more influence over their own community as they teach yoga. So that's what we do now, is we certify 200-hour Yoga Alliance certified teachers to teach in their own Native communities.
And what brought you to yoga?
Amazing.
Actually, it's funny because it kind of ties back to this purpose of healing natives. So my first yoga class was a Bikram yoga class in Atlanta, Georgia, about 12 years ago.
Oh, which studio?
And,
which one? Where?
Jason Ewing.
Yes. I lived in Atlanta. We had this conversation before. Yes.
Did we have this conversation? Yeah. So Jason Ewing was my first teacher.
Yes.
And,
yes, I practiced there for years, and then I was with Eric Jennings, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So my friend took me in. Of course, like a lot of hot yoga classes, friend doesn't tell you a lot. Just like, oh, you should come with me. I didn't know it was 90 minutes. I didn't know it was going to be that hot. And so I'd actually passed out before class started because I don't know. I think we'd had a really fun night the night before. And, but suddenly the heat that just enveloped me brought me back to a very ceremonial, I guess, tradition that we have within Native people. And so that's for Pueblo people, which is the tribe I'm from, is being in the kiva as we prepare for some summertime dances. So the heat that I felt as I was sweating with this group, like, brought this feeling of like home, of community, of healing, of group healing, and just this tribal thing that I was like, yes, and I want to do this forever, because I don't have to be just on my reservation during that certain time of year, and I can share it with people all around the world. And so that's what brought me in, like, from the moment. Like, yeah, it was like such a hard experience, and you know, I was horrible at it, and I already passed out before class started, but I knew this was a calling that I needed to share.
I love it.
That's awesome. So those traditions, are they called sweats? What are they called?
With some tribes it is. For
Yeah.
us, it just happens to be that it's during the summertime and they cram about 300 people in this round room that's maybe, I'm bad with dimensions, maybe like 50 feet in diameter.
Yeah.
And you're dancing and practicing before we have our dances out in the plaza for the public to see, for everybody on the reservation to see.
Right.
But yeah, so for 4 nights in July in New Mexico, we're crammed into this tiny building. And it just happens to be because of the season and because there's so many people and because we're
Right.
basically doing cardio for 3 hours straight, it's quite a sweat. So,
That's
so
awesome.
it does become a spiritual there is a spiritual element to that.
Sure.
But yeah, other ours doesn't, Pueblo doesn't, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of tribes that do have sweats where they actually build like a little sweat lodge and go there
Yeah.
just to sit and sweat. But what I thought was cool about what's a little bit different with us, we're actually moving in synchronicity as we sweat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really,
Oh,
that's
so
the cool
cool.
part. That's what
Yeah.
intrigued me, that it
Because
was
it's like
a synchronized dance. That's
yeah, it's not
awesome.
just like you're sitting there and I'm sitting there and we're kind of both
Yeah.
miserable in this sweaty space. It's like, girl, we are both working. We have a
That's right.
common cause and we are both working in this moment and you feel it and I feel it. So let's do it.
That's
I love it.
awesome.
I love it.
That's amazing. So, what right now is your yoga industry, and like, what does it look like right now with everything going on?
Right now we're strictly virtual in everything that I do. So at the gym, strictly virtual, doing Zoom classes, doing Facebook Live classes, same at the yoga studio. And which was always a plan from the beginning was to have a lot of virtual content for our native nonprofit, for Native Strength Revolution, because people don't really realize this, but the life that we're living in this moment, and I know this recording would be played, you know, on down the line, but right now, most people are at home. We have stay-at-home orders during this COVID-19 thing going around. But this is actually very typical of many people who live on a reservation. And except they don't have internet, except they don't have healthy food, and they don't have a healthy environment to be around. So to be able to have virtual content and have good content is key for us. So this gives us now the opportunity to continue to build our library among both businesses and feed that into the nonprofit, and actually also have our own specific videos for the nonprofit, which we're starting actually tomorrow. So, and now we have not just me, we have a whole group of us that are just like, yeah, me, I want to teach, which is great. So other natives get to see native teachers present this form of movement that can be very healing, and it doesn't matter where they are.
That's amazing. And it's so funny. Jessie and I were actually just having this conversation when we right after we had to close the school here in New Jersey, that, you know, we've been talking about so many ideas that we wanted to do, like chat and virtual classes, and I was like, well, thank you, universe. Here's an opportunity. So let's see what we can do with it. So that's amazing that it was an idea for you anyway. And now you have this great amount of time to focus on something that you were thinking about doing and to offer it for such a wonderful cause even before this happened.
Amazing, Kate. Amazing.
Yeah. And it's now, I mean, we're a group, we're a collaborative, which I'm so happy about. So I know, like, our last teacher training, we've had 2 specific trainings for Indigenous people to learn yoga and go back and teach the communities. The last training went from March 6th. So we did a lot of virtual already. So all of our people, all of the trainees, which are now teachers, were used to Zoom. They were used to that format. And so we did all the history, anatomy, everything like that on Zoom. But the in-person training was from the 6th through the 16th of March in New Orleans, which was, so teacher training is already a really intense experience. And then it's like, oh, wow, now we're in this hotbed of this, you know, thing that's changing our world.
Right.
And so I really feel like that was an intense experience for them, yet where they might have planned to teach might not have happened, because like I think reservations went on lockdown way before the general public, because I was scheduled to actually lead some camps on different reservations on the 17th, and they told me like way in advance, like probably 10 to 14 days, like nope, nobody's coming in there. They've already shut it down. So so they were, so
Smart.
what I'm getting at though, kind of like circling back around, is that the teachers who might have like been scared to go, you know how it is when you're a new yoga teacher, you're just kind of like, oh, I don't want to have my first class, it's gonna be bad and I don't know what I'm doing and this and that, and we so get into the way. And I'm like, y'all, you just got to get out there, like go, like teach. It doesn't matter, 5 minutes on Facebook Live, just go. And they did. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a proud moment to see that happening, because this whole like COVID thing and, you know, them like wanting to do what they knew they could do, they did it. And so that's who we are as healers. Like, it's just like, get out of your own way. There is a need right now. You have a phone or a device that you can tape yourself, do it, and help your community.
That's amazing.
I know.
Amazing. What so tell us, what exactly are the businesses? What is each one, and where is each one?
Yeah. So my first business is called Kiva Hot Yoga. So named it after the Kiva, which is the room that we sweat in on the reservation. So we originally started as a Bikram yoga studio called Bikram Yoga Birmingham, and changed about 7 years ago, just because I love all kinds of yoga and wanted to offer different styles and lengths of time, and not carpet and some other things. So that's what that is. And so it's just a really loving community. So that's the one in Birmingham. And then in New Orleans, we have Iron Tribe Fitness, and that's more of a group fitness gym. So it's similar to CrossFit in that it's functional fitness, groups of no more than 20, doing barbells, kettlebells, HIIT classes, try to defeat all of the habits from all the good food that's around us in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So, so that's what we have going on down there. So just a really great group, two great groups of people in both places.
Yeah. And how are you, like, we've heard, like, obviously you're doing amazing things, you know, in the community, and you're definitely one of those leaders and light workers that's really like on that local level promoting so many different things. What's some of the, like, I'm sure people are contacting you in need of assistance, and how are you managing all of that? Like, what are maybe more specifically, like, what are some of the things that people are reaching out to you with? Do they find that they're having isolation issues, people who aren't on like reservations, or is it just combination of a few? Like,
I would say the main thing that people are reaching out about is fellow healers or yoga teachers that are having a challenge dealing with what's going on, and trying to be authentic to what they might be going through, and honoring that, and not feeling like they have to, like, not everybody has to like step up to teach right now, and that's okay. You know, so I think it's important for other healers to recognize, like, okay, I'm not in a space to do that, and I'm gonna take a step back. But I think it's also important on both ends, as an employer, and as my teachers, to maintain the communication back and forth. Like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. So what's not, you know, like, what I can't accept is if somebody disappears. Like, what's going on? Where'd you go? What happened? Yeah. Because I think some people have taken the social distancing thing to another level, when it's like really just like, there's still phones, there's still texting, there's still Zoom, like, don't disappear. So I think that's just been the main thing, is making sure all my people are okay. And if they want to serve alongside with me, great. If they're not feeling like they're in that space, I completely respect that. So just making sure all the people that are involved in my organizations know that they have a choice, you know, so yeah.
And how are you doing with it? Like, on a personal level? I mean, you have spaces, you have two different spaces that require two different groups of people, right? And you have this nonprofit. So, I mean, I know when I have to work my regular schedule that I always feel like I'm running, you know, Mach 10 with my hair on fire. And so this was a huge halt for me to get used to not having that contact with people and not having that busy schedule, which I actually do enjoy. So how are you personally handling that?
I really haven't had time to slow down. I feel like at this moment in time, I've never known myself to be more busy. So, which I thought I was pretty busy before with everything. And now I'm actually in Kentucky. My mom just fell at the beginning of the training. And she's been in the hospital for quite a while. And she was in, isolation or quarantine. So I couldn't even go see her. But as soon as the training was over, I came up here to Kentucky to care for her. So that's actually given me moments to slow down, because if I don't have like a personal connection, like my husband or a dog or my mom who is now in need, I will like literally fall asleep at my computer doing everything that I think needs to be done, and have no time for myself. So even though in this instance, I might be serving my mom, it's still like her time with me. She's mom. So it's still like serving me, you know? So yeah, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to sit down and watch her Discovery ID, which is her favorite channel. And I, you know, have to admit, I love it too. So that's what I've been doing, and making sure I take those moments. And she'll just stare at me when I'm on the computer, like making our next like activity that we're doing virtually for the studio or nonprofit. And like, I'll feel the stare. I'm like, okay, let me shut it down for a sec, you know? So, that's family, and knowing that I'm needed, and that by spending time with her, I get what I need to. It fills me. So that's been super helpful. And and honestly, where we are now in Kentucky is right on the Ohio River, huge river. And so in the mornings, I'll just go down to the river, and there's something so calming about the water, and also when nobody's around, so I'm not getting, you know, too close to anyone. So that's been very healing, is to be near the water.
Kate, and you have such a great background of just yoga, fitness, wellness, just, you know, mind body healing, whether you're in the hot room or whether you're not in the hot room. What are some of the things that you're telling people to make sure that they maintain every day for their, you know, during this time?
Yeah. In the beginning of the day, and how we always start like our staff meetings, or just really, I tell people in the beginning of the day, which is how I start my day, is start in gratitude. So I start with prayer and really worship, and just like, thank you, God, for my blessings. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I do read scripture. It fills me up. It really helps me meditate on that word to set my day right, to live in a way that will help serve others. And by seeing them thrive, that makes me thrive. So doing that. We're in the season of Easter now. Easter's coming up. So yeah, I'm a follower of Jesus. So like, how would Jesus handle this situation? Like, how would he handle, you know, like helping his mom out, and, you know, helping his people out from, you know, his, you know, if he had a yoga studio, like how would that look? You know, so just doing my best to, and like, I mean, there's some hard decisions now for any kind of teacher or healer or business owner. So really making sure like I'm using that direct line up to help me filter the ideas and thoughts that are coming through my head, to always make the right decision, not just for me, but for everybody who is affected by those decisions.
That's amazing. And what if we were to talk specifically to hot yoga people who are now practicing their non-attachment to their heat, what are some tips or suggestions or body point, like what's your
so we got into this early on in we had a yoga cafe where I really started to go into the yamas and niyamas, and talking about non-attachment, and also talking about 8 limbs of yoga, and how the asanas and pranayama are just a teeny tiny bit of yoga. So yoga is so much more. And yeah, as a business owner and as a teacher, it's very frustrating to get the cancellations that do come in and saying, you know what, I'm just going to wait till you open the hot room back up. And I'm like, dudes, like, okay, this has been going on for what, 3 weeks now. I'm pretty certain we're probably not going to open up till June at this point, you know, to be safe with all the government, you know, not suggestions, but government like mandates. So, so y'all need to come away from that. Indeed, as a Native person, we are rooted in tradition and the way things are done. But we have to remember the intention of it, because no matter what culture you're talking about or religion, like if habit or ritual gets in the way of what your intention was, then you need to lose it. You need to get rid of that. So like heat, yeah, I got into hot yoga because of the heat, duh, who, like, what hot yogi doesn't, right? And it has to be, you know, and all my clients, same as me, like, oh, it's a little bit cool today. Ooh, it's a little bit hot today. They love that. I get it. That's why I open that. That's why as hot yoga studio owners, we put our whole life investment and savings into getting that heat into our hot room. But our intention is to heal, right? Not just mind, body, but also our spirit. And if we're completely cutting off something that served us just because one little element is not there, it's literally an element, heat, then that's cutting off your nose to spite your face, or however you want to say it from whatever culture. So it's challenging to really try to get that across. But it's absolutely possible. Do I prefer it? No, of course not. Is it the way it is? Yes. Is it going to be normal anytime soon? No. Is it ever going to be normal again? Probably not. I don't know. Who knows? It's not our worry today. So today, get on your mat and just do the thing.
I love you. Every time I talk to you, every time I talk to you, I'm like, yes.
Well, I know I'm preaching to the choir right now.
In my life, every time this whole yoga chat thing, I said to Chrissy, we are going to do 2 things at one time. We're going to be super selfish and connect with everybody because I love it.
Totally.
You've got to. You can't do anything that's like not, you know, like in the beginning when I said, like, oh, I don't know if I can, but like, it's Jess though. Like, I want to talk to her anyway.
Yeah.
You know, if it was like somebody else or like Jimmy's somebody's assistant that I don't really know, I don't know, you know, but
well, thank you. But yeah, just to chat, like, what's real right now? Like, what are we all going through, and how can we just let everybody know we're all doing it? Like, it's all the same, and we have all these great connections from people all over the world who we can just like talk for hours and hours and end on this. And then there are people out there who feel so isolated, and we're like, no, we can just video this and chat this right up.
I said to Jess before, this is like the world's best 3-way phone call. It's like the eternal 3-way phone call with all of our friends. Like, how can it get any better than this? So, so real quick, thanks for all that information, Kate. So tell everybody, like, how can we find you? How can we find your schools? How can we find you personally? And also, how can we find your nonprofit? Because that's amazing what you do.
Yeah, so our nonprofit, we're called Native Strength Revolution, and our website is nativestrengthrevolution.org. And we're also on the social media platforms, mainly Facebook and Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel as well. And so we're starting to build that back up. And yeah, so I'm so happy that it's
we
not
should
just
link
me there.
Yeah, we can link your YouTube,
but the other teachers
with this YouTube.
So, for YouTube.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
I'll write that. Yep, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, and so, you have both. Does your fitness center and your yoga school, are they both on Facebook and Instagram too?
Yes. So the yoga studio is Kiva, Kiva, hotyoga.com. And so we are, we're very active on Instagram and Facebook. Right now, we actually have our private Facebook page. So our regular Facebook page still got some stuff going on, but we've been super chatty on our private Facebook page for all our members. And then the gym is Iron Tribe Fitness in New Orleans. And so we have our website, Instagram, and Facebook for that. for that business as well, for that gym, for that
And I love
community.
it because you have so much virtual stuff that now if people want to be able to find you, all they have to do is go there.
Oh,
Yeah,
and I
log
forgot
in
there's
Let me
one more platform I just
Yes.
started, and so I need to pour into it more.
Please.
It's called strippersoul.com. So I'm part of a group of ladies in New Orleans who goes into the strip clubs every other Wednesday to just see how the girls are doing, see what they need, see if they might be not there under their, like, by choice. And so I've started a YouTube channel for them offering yoga for strippers. So helping heal their bodies after a shift, or just helping them as well. The goal on that site, that's strippersoul.com, is to really eventually, just started that one, give them goals and vision tools
Empowerment,
to help,
big empowerment, sure.
Help them see a life after
after
that, and think about getting out of there as soon as they can, because it's really not a good scene. That's part of my past. I was a dancer for a couple years, and so I really feel called to help them see beyond what they're seeing at the present moment as well.
You know what, Kate, you do so much amazing good stuff through all of the communities that Birmingham and New Orleans are very, very blessed to be able to have you at their fingertips. And for anybody who's listening to this right now, there are lots of avenues and platforms to be able to find Kate, and we'll make sure we put everything in the description below. We can even, like I said, share playlists, tag, whatever. I'll have my IT work that out. But we'll make sure that we get linked up to you, because you are just such a breath of fresh air, and super like a go-getter and a real woman entrepreneur, woman in business, woman who just gets shit done like a boss.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be able to just come on here and do that. It's a big a moment of gratitude and appreciation to you, definitely, for sure, for making the time for us in our little episode 3 of our YouTube chat. So I appreciate that from you, and CeeCee, I'm sure.
Yes, totally. You are such a beautiful, shining soul, and I am so blessed and fortunate to know you.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are, I'm so glad I'm talking to you today.
You guys you're good people.
You are good people. I know. Every time I'm always like, yes, Kate's coming. Yes, Kate's coming.
I'm like, where are October? You? Yes, I'm hoping for October.
I'm my fingers crossed for October as well. October is where we do our level 2-3 teacher training with Jimmy Barkin, and we do the vinyasa. So a lot of us always kind of meet up there and just recharge and refuel and keep these connections going and submerge ourselves in a big immersion of yoga. So, Kate's part of that too. She's a mover and a shaker for sure.
Yes.
All righty. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today in this chat. It was an uplifting, it was a motivating, it was a spiritually peaceful chat. And thank you so much to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.